The sun rose gently over the small colony on the planet Viridia. Its light spread across the fields of silver grass and softly glowing flowers. Among the rows of homes made from smooth white metal, one house stood with a small garden in front. Lena, a young mother with soft brown hair and bright eyes, tended to her plants. She loved the quiet mornings when the air smelled fresh and the world felt calm. Beside her, her baby Milo sat on a soft mat. He was curious and happy, reaching out for the small, colorful toys around him. His tiny hands grabbed at a spinning cube that reflected the morning light. Every movement he made him giggle, a sound that made Lena smile. Watching them closely was Koro, their German shepherd. Koro was not an ordinary dog. His fur shone, with a healthy gloss, and his eyes, sharp and alert, scanned the garden constantly. His movements were graceful and precise. Humans had enhanced Koro with a special training program and gentle cybernetic sensors that helped him understand gestures, emotions, and even some spoken commands more clearly than most ordinary dogs. Lena adjusted the small watering can in her hand and moved to a row of flowering plants. She whispered to Milo, "Stay here, my little star. Koro is with you. I will be back in just a moment." Milo cooed and waved his tiny hands, feeling safe with Koro nearby. Koro sat closer to Milo, lowering his head to watch the baby. Every now and then he nudged a toy back toward Milo if it rolled too far. His ears twitched at every sound, from the hum of a small robot tending the distant fields to the soft wind moving through the glowing plants. Koro's eyes were always on Milo, making sure no harm came near. Lena moved between the rows of flowers, checking their health. She smiled as she saw some small buds about to bloom. This morning was peaceful. The sky was painted with soft shades of gold and pink, and even the distant hills seemed calm under the early sunlight. Lena felt content. Suddenly, a faint sound made her pause. It was a soft humming, almost like the song of a very tiny creature. She listened carefully, but Milo was happily playing, and Koro remained calm, though his ears twitched. Lena shook her head. "Maybe it is just the wind," she whispered to herself, smiling. She returned her attention to the flowers, gently touching each petal. Koro remained perfectly still, his body relaxed but ready. Every now and then he lifted his nose, sniffing the air. His instincts were sharp, trained to sense danger before humans could notice it. Milo reached for a bright toy shaped like a little glowing orb. The orb spun slowly, casting soft colors on Milo's hands and face. His eyes widened with delight. Koro watched him carefully. As Milo laughed, Koro barked softly, a gentle warning if anything approached. Then Lena stepped inside the small house to fetch water for the plants. The door closed behind her. Milo was left alone with Koro for just a few seconds, but in those moments, something unusual began to happen. A tiny light appeared near Milo's toys. It floated gently, pulsing with soft colors. The glow was unlike anything Lena had ever seen. Koro's ears twitched, and his eyes focused on the floating light. He stood immediately, placing himself between Milo and the glowing object. His tail was stiff, but his stance was calm and protective. Milo reached toward the glowing light with innocent curiosity. Koro gently nudged Milo's hand back toward the mat. He did not bark loudly or attack. His movements were precise, careful to protect the baby without causing fear. The small creature, if it could be called that, hovered just a few inches above the ground. Its glow changed colors, from soft blue to gentle green. It seemed intelligent, aware of Koro and Milo, but its intentions were unclear. Lena returned with a small watering can. She froze when she saw the scene. Milo was safe, but the glowing creature was floating near his toy, and Koro was standing in front of him like a guardian. Her heart beat faster. She had not expected anything like this. "Koro, what is this?" she whispered softly. Koro turned his head toward her, his eyes still on the creature. He gave a soft growl, not aggressive, but a warning. Lena understood immediately. Koro was not afraid, but he wanted her to be careful. The glowing light pulsed again, and Koro's body tensed slightly. Milo giggled, thinking it was a game. He reached out again, but Koro nudged him back gently. Lena stepped closer and extended her hand slowly. She wanted to see the creature more clearly without frightening it. The glow responded, moving slightly away from her hand, but without leaving Milo. Lena realized that the creature was not harmful. It seemed curious, observing the baby and the dog. She noticed patterns in the light, almost like it was trying to communicate. Koro watched carefully, his head tilting slightly. He barked softly, a sound that seemed almost like a signal. The creature pulsed brighter for a moment, then dimmed as if it understood Koro's warning. Lena's heart filled with awe. She had always known Koro was intelligent, but this moment showed her how much. He was more than a pet. He was a protector, capable of sensing things humans might not understand. Milo laughed again and reached for his spinning orb. Koro stepped closer, positioning himself perfectly to shield the baby while allowing him to play. Lena knelt beside them, her eyes fixed on the glowing creature. "Hello there," she whispered. Her voice was soft and calm, trying to show that she meant no harm. The creature pulsed slowly, almost as if it recognized her words. Its light shifted to gentle purple, then soft gold. Koro sat down slowly, keeping Milo safe with his body between them. Lena noticed how the dog's instincts were almost like reasoning. He knew that this being was not immediately dangerous, but he could not let Milo get too close without caution. The small glowing creature hovered near the spinning orb. Milo reached again, and Koro nudged him back carefully. Lena reached out and gently touched Milo's hand, keeping him safe. The creature pulsed with brighter light, hovering higher, as if respecting their space. Lena looked at Koro and smiled. "You are amazing, Koro. Thank you for keeping him safe." Koro's ears twitched and he wagged his tail slightly. His eyes remained on the creature, alert and protective. The sun climbed higher in the sky, casting a warm glow across the garden. The flowers shimmered in the light, and the soft silver grass swayed gently. Milo clapped his hands, delighted by the colors from his spinning orb. The glowing creature hovered near the orb but did not touch it. Koro remained calm, but ready to act if needed. Lena's mind raced with questions. Where did this glowing creature come from? Was it part of the planet's ecosystem or something from the stars? She could not answer yet, but one thing was certain. Koro had protected Milo with intelligence and care that went far beyond ordinary dogs. He had kept the baby safe in a moment that could have been dangerous. For the first time, Lena understood that humans had created something extraordinary in Koro. He was more than a pet. He was a guardian, a protector who could think, understand, and act with purpose. The human spirit and ingenuity had made this possible, and she felt proud. The glowing creature moved slightly and hovered higher, as if acknowledging Lena, Koro, and Milo. Then slowly it began to drift away, leaving a soft trail of light in the air. Milo watched it with wide eyes, clapping his tiny hands. Koro remained still, ensuring the creature did not return too quickly. Lena held Milo close, feeling his small heart beat against her chest. She looked at Koro with deep appreciation. "You are incredible," she said softly. Koro wagged his tail slightly, his eyes still bright and alert. The garden returned to its quiet state. The flowers swayed in the breeze. The silver grass shimmered in the sunlight, and Milo played happily with his toys. Lena took a deep breath, feeling a mix of awe and relief. She knew this day would be remembered. Koro had shown her the true strength of human creativity and loyalty. For now, the garden was peaceful again. But Lena knew that life on Viridia held many surprises. With Koro by her side, she felt ready for whatever came next. The bond between humans and their creations had never seemed stronger. She smiled and whispered to Milo, "You are safe, little one, and so loved." Koro sat beside them, his body, relaxed but alert, watching over the baby and the small garden. The morning sun warmed them all, and Lena felt hope in her heart. The adventure of life on Viridia had only just begun, and she knew they would face it together. The morning on Viridia had grown brighter. The sun climbed higher, painting the small colony with warm golden light. Lena continued to watch Milo as he played on the soft mat in the garden. Koro sat beside him, alert and calm, his ears twitching at every sound. The glowing creature had disappeared, but Lena could not stop thinking about it. Its strange, soft pulses of light had filled her with both awe and curiosity. Milo clapped his tiny hands, his laughter echoing gently in the quiet garden. Koro's eyes remained on him, moving from the baby to the distant fields, always scanning for any danger. The cybernetic enhancements in Koro's brain helped him sense movement and energy patterns that humans could not notice. Lena had always known Koro was intelligent, but today had shown her just how extraordinary he could be. Lena moved to a small row of plants that needed water. She bent over to sprinkle water on the soft leaves. As she worked, a soft humming sound reached her ears. It was quiet at first, almost like a song carried by the wind. She paused, listening carefully. Milo continued to play, unaware of the sound. Koro's ears twitched sharply, and he stood immediately, his body stiffening slightly. The humming grew louder, a gentle vibration in the air that seemed to move toward the garden. Lena's heart beat faster. She could feel the strange energy, a vibration almost like a heartbeat, but not quite human or animal. It was alien. Her curiosity fought with caution. She did not want to frighten Milo, but she needed to know what was happening. "Koro," she whispered, stepping closer to the dog. "Do you hear that?" Koro's eyes did not leave the edge of the garden. He let out a low, soft growl. Lena could feel the warning in his tone. This was not just an ordinary sound. Koro sensed something unusual, something that could affect Milo. She nodded slowly, understanding his message. Milo reached for a toy again, his tiny hands brushing the spinning orb. Koro nudged him back gently, placing his body between the baby and the edge of the garden. The humming grew louder and a faint glow appeared at the far edge of the yard. The light was soft but bright enough to cast long shadows across the silver grass. Lena stood frozen for a moment. She had seen the glowing creature earlier, but this was different. The light moved slowly, hovering closer. It did not resemble any animal or plant she had ever seen. Its shape was fluid, almost like liquid light, and it pulsed gently with a rhythm that matched the humming. Koro stepped closer to Milo, his body low and protective. His tail was straight, signaling alertness, but he did not make a single aggressive move. Lena felt a surge of pride. Koro's instincts were precise and controlled. He could sense danger without panicking and act to protect the baby with calm intelligence. The glowing shape hovered near Milo's toys. Milo reached out instinctively, smiling at the soft colors. Koro nudged him back gently, careful not to frighten the baby. Lena knelt beside Milo and whispered, "It's okay, my little one. Koro is here with you. You are safe." Milo cooed and reached out again. The glowing object pulsed brighter, almost as if it responded to his laughter. Lena studied it closely. Its movements were deliberate. It floated in patterns that suggested intelligence. She could see faint traces of color moving inside it, almost like tiny rivers of light. Koro sniffed the air, his nose twitching as he analyzed the glowing presence. Lena realized that Koro was not just protecting Milo physically. He was sensing the intentions of the creature, judging whether it was safe or dangerous. A sudden sound startled Lena. It was a soft tapping, like tiny feet on the metal floor of the distant colony buildings. She looked up and saw that the creature had moved closer, hovering near the edge of the garden. Its light had shifted to a gentle green, then a soft yellow, like it was observing and learning. Koro growled softly again. Lena placed a hand on his back. "Easy, Koro, let's see what it wants." Koro's body relaxed slightly, but his eyes never left the glowing shape. Milo giggled, reaching for the creature's light. Koro nudged him back again. Lena realized that Koro understood something she could not. He knew that while the creature seemed harmless, it needed to be treated carefully. The glowing object moved closer to Milo, circling the spinning orb in his hands. Its light pulsed in rhythm with Koro's small growls, almost like it was communicating. Lena gasped softly. She had never seen anything like this. It was intelligent. It seemed to understand Koro's gestures and the baby's curiosity. Koro lowered himself to the ground, keeping Milo between his body and the light. He tilted his head slightly, observing. Lena realized that the dog was acting like a translator, interpreting the creature's actions and ensuring Milo's safety. She felt a deep pride in the bond between humans and their creations. Koro was not just a pet. He was a guardian, a thinker, and a friend. The creature's light shifted again, this time to a gentle blue. Lena reached out slowly, not to touch it, but to show that she meant no harm. The glowing shape paused, hovering still in the air. Koro's ears twitched, and he growled softly, cautioning Lena to move slowly. She nodded and stayed still, letting the creature decide its next move. Milo's laughter filled the garden again. The baby's joy seemed to calm the glowing presence. Its light softened, and it hovered closer to the spinning orb. Koro shifted slightly but did not act aggressively. He seemed to understand that the creature posed no immediate threat. Lena knelt fully beside Milo, keeping him close. "We do not want to scare you," she whispered. Her voice was soft and soothing. The creature pulsed brighter for a moment, then dimmed, almost like it understood her words. Koro watched carefully, his body relaxed but ready to act. The humming grew fainter. The glowing shape moved slowly toward the edge of the garden. Lena realized it was leaving, but it paused for a moment, pulsing brightly one last time. Koro barked softly, a friendly warning to the strange visitor. Milo waved his tiny hands, giggling. Lena smiled, feeling a mixture of relief and wonder. Once the creature departed completely, the garden returned to calm. The flowers swayed in the gentle breeze, and the silver grass shimmered in the sunlight. Milo played happily with his spinning orb, and Koro sat beside him, keeping a watchful eye on the surroundings. Lena's heart beat steadily. She had seen something extraordinary today. "Koro," she whispered, stroking his head. "You are incredible. You kept Milo safe and understood what the creature meant without a single mistake." Koro wagged his tail slightly, his eyes bright and attentive. Lena felt a deep sense of pride and admiration. Human creativity had made this possible. Koro was a true testament to the bond between humans and the beings they create. Milo reached for the orb again, laughing. Koro nudged him gently, keeping him safe while allowing the baby to explore. Lena watched them both and felt a wave of hope. Life on Viridia was full of surprises, and today had shown her that humans could create companions capable of understanding and protecting life in ways that seemed almost magical. The sun climbed higher, and the shadows grew shorter. Lena decided it was time to bring Milo inside for breakfast. She picked him up gently, feeling his warmth in her arms. Koro followed, walking close to them, alert but calm. Lena looked at the garden one last time, knowing it would never look quite the same again. Something extraordinary had visited them, and Koro had shown the depth of his loyalty and intelligence. As they entered the house, Milo laughing in her arms, Lena felt a renewed sense of purpose. She would continue to explore and understand Viridia, its mysteries, and the bonds humans could create with animals like Koro. She knew that together, they could face anything the universe sent their way. The day had started quietly, but it had ended with awe and wonder. Lena, Milo, and Koro were ready for the next adventure, united by trust, love, and the extraordinary capabilities of the human mind and heart. The next morning, the sky over Viridia was painted with soft shades of pink and gold. Lena had made a simple breakfast for herself and Milo. She carried it outside to the garden, where Koro sat quietly beside Milo. The baby's tiny hands reached for the soft mat as he babbled happily. The air smelled fresh, and the glowing plants swayed gently in the breeze. Lena smiled as she placed the tray of food on the small table. Milo giggled, clapping his hands. Koro's eyes never left the edge of the garden. He was alert, as always, scanning the horizon for anything unusual. Yesterday had been extraordinary. The glowing creature had appeared, hovered near Milo, and left without causing harm. Lena could not forget the gentle pulses of light or the way Koro had protected her baby with intelligence and care. As Lena prepared Milo's breakfast, a faint movement caught Koro's attention. He stiffened immediately, his ears lifting. Milo reached for a toy, unaware of the sudden tension in Koro's posture. Lena noticed the change and turned. At the far edge of the garden, a soft glow appeared. It was smaller than yesterday's visitor, but shared the same pulsing light and quiet humming. Koro stepped closer to Milo, positioning himself between the baby and the light. His tail was straight and his muscles tense. Lena felt her heart beat faster. She had not expected another visitor so soon. Milo laughed, thinking it was part of a game. Koro nudged him gently back, signaling that this was not playtime. Lena approached slowly. "It is okay," she whispered, her voice calm. "We mean no harm." The glowing object pulsed brighter, almost as if it understood her words. Koro watched carefully, his head tilting slightly. The dog's instincts were extraordinary. Lena had always known he was smart, but moments like this proved he could act with reasoning and empathy. The glowing shape hovered near Milo's toys, circling them slowly. Koro lowered himself slightly, keeping Milo safe but not blocking his view. Milo reached toward the light, laughing. Koro nudged him back again, careful and gentle. Lena watched in awe as Koro's protective behavior seemed almost like a conversation with the creature. The light pulsed in rhythm with Koro's movements, changing from soft green to gentle gold. Lena realized the creature was intelligent. It was aware of Koro, Milo, and her presence. It moved cautiously as if trying to understand them. Koro remained calm but ready, his body language clear and precise. Milo reached for a glowing orb in his toy set. The small creature hovered above it, its light blending with the colors of the orb. Koro's eyes narrowed, watching carefully. Then something surprising happened. The creature moved closer to Milo, but Koro did not growl. Instead, he lowered himself slightly, guiding Milo's tiny hands away from the orb. Lena gasped softly. Koro understood the situation. He was protecting Milo not just physically, but by guiding his actions. The dog's intelligence and loyalty shone brighter than ever. Lena felt a deep pride in the human mind that had created such a guardian. The creature's light shifted to a soft blue. It hovered above Milo, observing him closely. Koro stayed between them, alert but calm. Lena noticed how precise Koro's movements were. He was careful not to scare Milo or the creature. He acted with thought and understanding. Suddenly, the glowing object moved toward Milo's spinning orb. Milo reached out instinctively. Koro nudged him back gently, keeping him safe. The creature pulsed brighter, almost like it was responding to Koro's careful guidance. Lena felt awe at the intelligence displayed by both the dog and the creature. The humming grew slightly louder. Lena listened carefully and realized it was not just a sound. The rhythm seemed to carry meaning. Koro's ears twitched in response. The dog's cybernetic enhancements allowed him to detect subtle changes in energy and movement. He understood more than any ordinary animal could. Lena realized that Koro was reading the creature's intentions and adjusting his actions to protect Milo. Milo laughed again, his tiny hands clapping. The creature hovered near him, pulsing softly. Koro stepped closer, placing his body in a protective circle around the baby. Lena knelt beside them, holding Milo gently. "Koro, you are amazing," she whispered. "Thank you for keeping him safe." Koro's tail wagged slightly, his eyes bright and alert. Lena felt a sense of pride and relief. She had created life on this new planet. But the human spirit also shone in Koro. He was not just a dog. He was a guardian capable of understanding, reasoning, and acting with care. The glowing creature hovered near Milo, its light changing from gold to soft purple. It seemed curious and gentle. Lena could see patterns in the light, almost like tiny symbols moving inside it. Koro watched intently, analyzing every movement. He nudged Milo gently again, keeping him safe without alarming him. Lena reached out her hand slowly, showing the creature she meant no harm. It pulsed brightly for a moment, then dimmed slightly. Koro remained between them, calm but vigilant. Milo babbled happily, reaching for his toys. Koro's instincts allowed the baby to explore safely while ensuring no harm came near him. Then, unexpectedly, a small branch fell from one of the glowing trees at the edge of the garden. It landed near the creature. Koro's body tensed. The dog stepped forward, placing himself between Milo and the branch, then nudged it gently with his nose, moving it away from danger. The creature pulsed brightly, almost as if it recognized Koro's protective actions. Lena gasped softly. Koro's behavior was extraordinary. He had reacted immediately, assessing the threat and acting with precision. His loyalty and intelligence were remarkable. She felt pride in the human mind that had created such a guardian. The creature hovered higher, its glow softening. It seemed to understand that Koro was a protector, not an enemy. Milo reached for it instinctively, but Koro nudged him back gently. Lena smiled. The dog's instincts and intelligence had kept the baby safe without frightening him. The humming grew fainter, and the light shifted to soft green again. Koro remained alert but relaxed slightly. Lena could see the creature preparing to leave. She felt a mixture of awe and relief. Life on Viridia was full of surprises, and Koro's actions had shown her the strength of human creativity. Milo clapped his hands, laughing. The glowing creature hovered for a moment, then slowly drifted away, leaving faint trails of light in the air. Koro followed its movements with his eyes, then turned to Milo, placing himself beside the baby. Lena picked Milo up gently, holding him close. "You are safe," she whispered. Koro sat calmly beside them, his eyes scanning the garden. Lena felt a deep sense of gratitude. The dog had not only protected Milo physically, but had understood the situation in a way that seemed almost human. She realized that Koro was a true example of what humans could create with care, intelligence, and love. The garden returned to its quiet state. The flowers swayed gently, and the silver grass shimmered in the sunlight. Milo played happily with his spinning orb, and Koro remained close, alert but calm. Lena knew that life on Viridia would continue to surprise them. She also knew that with Koro by their side, they could face anything. As Lena and Milo finished breakfast, she watched Koro carefully. The dog's eyes were bright, his ears twitching at every sound. He had proven himself more than once. His intelligence, loyalty, and protective instincts were extraordinary. Lena felt proud and grateful. The glowing creature might return. Lena knew this. But Koro's presence gave her confidence. Humans had created something remarkable in him. The bond between human and dog, strengthened by careful design and love, had protected Milo in a moment when instinct alone might not have been enough. The day moved on with soft warmth. Lena held Milo in her arms while Koro followed closely. The garden, the glowing plants, and the soft hum of the wind made a peaceful scene. Yet Lena knew the universe held more mysteries. With Koro as their guardian, she felt ready to face whatever came next. The morning had begun quietly, but it had ended with awe. Lena, Milo, and Koro were connected in a bond stronger than simple companionship. They were ready for the challenges and wonders that life on Viridia would bring. The adventure was just beginning, and the human spirit combined with intelligent creation shone brightly in Koro's eyes. The afternoon sun shone warmly over the small colony on Viridia. Lena had moved Milo inside for a nap, placing him carefully in his soft cot. The baby's breathing was calm and steady, and the soft hum of the room was comforting. Koro lay on the floor nearby, his head resting on his paws, eyes alert despite the calm moment. The garden outside was quiet now, but Lena could not stop thinking about the glowing creature. Its intelligence had amazed her, and Koro's protective instincts had been extraordinary. She walked to the window, watching the soft silver grass and glowing flowers sway in the gentle breeze. Her mind wondered what the creature might be and why it had come to them twice. Koro rose slowly, ears twitching. He walked to the garden door and nudged it gently with his nose. Lena opened the door, curious to see why Koro was alert again. As soon as the door opened, a soft humming filled the air. Lena's eyes widened. The glowing creature was back. This time it hovered closer, its light shifting between soft blue and gentle gold. Koro immediately positioned himself between Milo's cot and the garden, though he remained calm. Lena stepped carefully onto the soft grass, keeping her movements slow and non-threatening. Milo stirred in his sleep and Koro nudged him gently back into the cot. The dog's instincts were precise. He knew that even a harmless presence needed careful monitoring when the baby was sleeping. The glowing creature pulsed gently, floating near the edge of the garden. Lena noticed patterns in its light, faint sequences that seemed deliberate. It was as if the creature was trying to communicate, but the language was not sound, it was light and rhythm. Koro tilted his head slightly, watching the pulsing pattern. His cybernetic enhancements allowed him to perceive the subtle energy and movement, almost like understanding a code that humans could not read. Lena knelt beside the open door, her hands resting gently on the wooden frame. "Hello," she whispered softly. "We do not want to harm you. We just want to understand." The creature pulsed brighter for a moment, then dimmed. Koro's tail wagged slightly, indicating that the message had been received and that the creature posed no immediate threat. The creature moved closer, hovering above Milo's mat. Koro stepped slightly forward but kept a calm posture. He sniffed the air, his senses analyzing the creature's energy. Lena watched in awe. Koro seemed to act as a translator, interpreting the glowing pulses and ensuring that both the baby and the creature remained safe. Milo stirred, opening his eyes slightly. The creature hovered higher, keeping a respectful distance. Koro stepped closer, placing his body protectively around the baby. Milo reached out instinctively, but Koro nudged his hand back gently. Lena realized that Koro understood more than she could. He was balancing curiosity and caution, allowing them to interact safely. The glowing creature's pulses grew faster, forming a rhythm. Lena noticed that the pattern repeated, almost like a message. Koro responded with subtle gestures, tail movements, soft barks, and gentle shifts in his posture. The creature's light shifted in response. Lena gasped softly. It was communicating with Koro. Lena reached out her hand slowly, showing the creature that she meant no harm. It pulsed brightly, hovering closer to her hand without touching it. Koro remained alert, keeping Milo safe while allowing Lena to interact. She felt a deep sense of awe. The bond between human, dog, and alien presence was unfolding before her eyes. The creature's light shifted to soft green, then to gentle gold. Lena realized it was trying to show something. She watched closely and saw a faint outline of small shapes moving inside the glowing form, almost like images or symbols. Koro's eyes narrowed as he analyzed the patterns. His instincts told him that the creature was friendly, but it needed understanding. Lena whispered softly, "We want to be friends. We do not want to hurt you." The creature pulsed brighter, hovering closer. Milo giggled softly, reaching his tiny hands. Koro nudged him gently back. Lena realized that Koro was not only protecting Milo but guiding the interaction, teaching him safe ways to approach the unknown. The creature's glow shifted again, forming patterns that seemed to respond to Koro's movements. Lena could see that Koro understood these patterns. He tilted his head, then moved slightly to one side. The creature followed, hovering along the same path. Lena's heart filled with wonder. The dog's intelligence was extraordinary. He could read and respond to the creature's actions in real time. Milo clapped his tiny hands, watching the shifting lights. Koro stepped forward slightly, keeping the baby safe but allowing him to see the glowing display. Lena realized that Koro's training and enhancements had created something extraordinary. The bond between humans and their creations allowed them to face the unknown with intelligence and empathy. The creature hovered near the center of the garden, pulsing in a steady rhythm. Lena watched carefully, noting the sequence of lights. She mimicked the pattern with her hands, moving slowly and deliberately. The creature pulsed in response. Koro's tail wagged slightly and he barked softly, signaling approval. Lena realized they were communicating. The glowing object's pulses became faster, forming a pattern that seemed to tell a story. Lena could not understand all of it, but she sensed that the creature was friendly and curious. Koro responded with subtle gestures, moving in a way that guided the interaction. Milo laughed happily, reaching for the patterns of light. Koro nudged him gently back, keeping him safe. Lena knelt fully, watching the sequence of glowing shapes. She realized that the creature was showing them a vision of its world, a place of light and energy. Koro responded to the movements, adjusting his position to allow them to interact safely. Lena felt a surge of pride. The human mind had created a companion capable of understanding and protecting life in ways that seemed almost magical. The humming grew softer. The creature's glow shifted to soft purple, hovering near Milo's toys. Lena reached out her hand slowly, showing respect and curiosity. Koro stepped closer, placing his body protectively between Milo and the creature. The dog's instincts allowed them to explore the unknown safely, balancing caution with curiosity. Milo reached out his tiny hand, giggling. Koro nudged him gently back. Lena realized that Koro was teaching Milo about trust and safety. The creature pulsed brighter, as if recognizing the interaction. Lena smiled, feeling the strength of human ingenuity and the bond they shared with Koro. The glowing object hovered for a moment, then moved slowly toward the edge of the garden. Its light was softer now, like a farewell. Koro watched carefully, ensuring that the baby remained safe. Lena picked Milo up gently, holding him close. "Thank you," she whispered softly. The creature pulsed one last time and then drifted away, leaving faint trails of light in the air. Koro sat calmly beside them, his eyes scanning the garden. Lena felt a deep sense of pride and wonder. Koro had acted not only as a protector, but as a bridge for communication. The bond between human, dog, and the unknown creature had shown her the extraordinary possibilities of life on Viridia. Milo laughed, clapping his hands as he watched the fading trails of light. Lena held him close, feeling his warmth against her chest. Koro nudged the baby gently, keeping him safe. The garden was quiet again, but Lena knew that this encounter would be remembered forever. She looked at Koro, her eyes filled with gratitude. "You are incredible," she whispered. "Your intelligence, loyalty, and care are beyond words." Koro wagged his tail slightly, his eyes bright and alert. Lena realized that human creativity had produced something extraordinary. Koro was not just a dog. He was a guardian, a teacher, and a friend. The afternoon passed peacefully. Milo played happily with his toys, and Koro remained close, alert but calm. Lena felt a sense of hope. Life on Viridia was full of mysteries, and humans had the ability to face them with intelligence, empathy, and care. Koro was proof of that. As the sun began to set, Lena carried Milo inside for a nap. Koro followed closely, walking beside her protectively. She looked back at the garden one last time. The glowing creature had departed, but the memory of its visit and Koro's extraordinary protection would remain with them forever. The day had started quietly, but it had ended with awe and wonder. Lena, Milo, and Koro were connected by trust, intelligence, and the human spirit. They were ready for the challenges and wonders that life on Viridia would bring. The adventure was just beginning, and the bond they shared was stronger than anything Lena had imagined. The morning on Viridia began quietly. The golden sunlight spread across the small colony, casting long, gentle shadows on the silver grass. Lena prepared a simple breakfast for Milo, placing the colorful plates and cups carefully on the small table in the garden. Koro sat nearby, alert and watchful as always, his sharp eyes scanning the soft swaying plants and the glowing flowers. Milo giggled happily, reaching for his spinning orb toy. His tiny fingers grasped it and he shook it, making the colors dance in the morning light. Koro nudged him gently, placing himself between the baby and the open edge of the garden. Lena smiled as she watched the dog, realizing once again how extraordinary he was. His loyalty, intelligence, and instincts had always amazed her, but recent events had shown her just how extraordinary he could be. The glowing creature from the previous days had not returned yet, but Lena sensed it might appear again. She stayed calm, holding Milo's hand and letting him explore the garden safely under Koro's watchful eyes. The air was soft and warm, carrying the scent of the glowing flowers that swayed gently in the breeze. Suddenly, a soft hum filled the garden. It was quiet at first, almost like a gentle vibration in the air. Koro's ears lifted instantly, and he stood between Milo and the edge of the garden. Milo laughed, thinking it was part of a game, and reached for his spinning orb. Koro nudged him gently back, signaling caution. Lena's heart beat faster. The glowing creature had returned. It hovered above the silver grass, its light shifting between soft gold and gentle blue. The patterns inside the light were clearer now, almost like tiny symbols moving slowly. Lena knelt beside Milo, holding his tiny hand and whispering, "Stay calm, my little star. Koro is with you." The dog's body remained protective, low to the ground, but he did not act aggressively. The creature pulsed slowly, as if observing the humans and Koro. Then it moved closer to Milo's toys, its light soft and gentle. Milo reached toward it, laughing. Koro nudged him gently back, ensuring he stayed safe. Lena realized that Koro was acting as a bridge between them, guiding the interaction with intelligence and care. The glowing object pulsed brighter, forming patterns that seemed to tell a story. Lena watched closely, her heart beating faster. Koro tilted his head slightly, understanding the sequence of pulses. The dog's enhancements allowed him to interpret subtle signals, almost like a translator. Lena felt awe at the depth of Koro's intelligence. Milo clapped his hands, laughing happily. The creature's light pulsed faster, responding to the baby's joy. Koro shifted slightly, keeping Milo protected but allowing him to enjoy the colors and movement. Lena realized that the bond between human and dog, strengthened by care and ingenuity, allowed them to interact safely with the unknown. The creature's glow changed to a soft green, hovering near Milo's spinning orb. Lena extended her hand slowly, showing respect and curiosity. The creature pulsed brighter, hovering close without touching her. Koro's body remained between Milo and the creature, alert and protective. The dog's instincts were extraordinary, balancing caution and curiosity perfectly. Then suddenly, the glowing object descended closer to Milo. Its light shimmered in gentle waves. Koro tensed slightly, ready to act, but did not move aggressively. He understood the creature's intentions. It meant no harm. Lena held Milo gently, letting him watch the light safely. Milo reached out his tiny hand, giggling, but Koro nudged him back softly. The humming grew louder, forming a soft rhythm. Lena realized the creature was communicating through its light and sound. Koro responded with subtle gestures, tail movements, and soft barks. The glowing pulses shifted in response as if recognizing the dog's actions. Lena's heart filled with wonder. The bond between human, dog, and this alien being was extraordinary. Milo laughed, clapping his tiny hands as the light pulsed above him. Koro stepped closer, keeping him safe while allowing him to experience the display. Lena felt pride and gratitude. Humans had created Koro not just as a pet, but as a guardian capable of understanding and responding to the unknown. This intelligence, combined with loyalty and care, was remarkable. The glowing creature hovered near Milo, its pulses forming more complex patterns. Lena noticed small shapes moving within the light, almost like images telling a story. Koro tilted his head, responding with subtle movements. The dog's enhancements allowed him to interpret and guide the interaction safely. Milo's eyes widened in delight as he watched the dance of light. Then the creature's glow brightened to soft gold, hovering close to Milo. It pulsed in rhythm with Koro's gentle barks and tail movements. Lena realized that the dog and the creature were communicating. Koro's protective instincts and intelligence allowed them to interact safely, teaching humans and baby alike about trust and understanding. Milo reached out instinctively and Koro nudged him gently back. Lena smiled. Koro was teaching Milo how to engage safely with something unfamiliar. The glowing creature seemed to recognize this, pulsing softly in response. Lena felt a deep sense of pride in the bond they shared with Koro. Humans had created something extraordinary, capable of love, loyalty, and understanding beyond the ordinary. The humming grew softer, and the glowing light moved in gentle circles around Milo. Koro stayed close, watching intently, his body protective but calm. Lena knelt beside Milo, holding him carefully. She whispered softly, "You are safe, my little star. Koro is here with us." The baby cooed, reaching for the shifting light, but Koro nudged him gently back, keeping him safe. Then, the glowing creature hovered directly above Milo's toy. Its pulses formed patterns that seemed to indicate curiosity and friendship. Koro remained alert but relaxed slightly, understanding that the creature meant no harm. Lena felt awe at the intelligence displayed by both the dog and the alien presence. The creature pulsed one last time and moved closer to Milo. Koro stepped slightly forward but did not block its path. He understood that this interaction was harmless and even meaningful. Milo reached out his tiny hands and Koro nudged him gently back, allowing him to observe safely. Lena's heart filled with emotion. She realized that Koro's intelligence and loyalty were gifts beyond measure. The glowing object hovered for a moment, then pulsed brightly. It seemed to acknowledge the bond between the humans and Koro. Lena felt tears of joy welling in her eyes. The creature had shown them its intelligence and curiosity, and Koro had ensured the baby's safety while allowing interaction. Finally, the glowing light drifted away slowly, leaving faint trails of shimmer in the air. Milo clapped his hands, laughing happily. Koro remained seated beside him, alert but calm. Lena held Milo close, feeling the warmth of his small body against her chest. She looked at Koro with deep gratitude. "You are incredible," she whispered. "Your loyalty, intelligence, and care have protected Milo in ways I could never imagine." Koro wagged his tail slightly, his eyes bright and attentive. Lena knew that the dog was more than a pet. He was a guardian, a teacher, and a companion capable of love and understanding beyond what humans could expect. The garden returned to quiet. The silver grass swayed gently in the breeze and the glowing flowers shimmered softly. Milo played happily with his spinning orb and Koro sat nearby keeping watch. Lena felt hope in her heart. Life on Viridia was full of surprises, but with Koro by their side they were ready for anything. As the sun climbed higher, Lena carried Milo inside for a nap. Koro followed closely, walking beside her protectively. She looked back at the garden one last time. The glowing creature had departed, but the memory of its visit and Koro's extraordinary protection would remain with them forever. Lena realized that humans could create more than technology or buildings. They could create companions capable of loyalty, intelligence, and love. Koro was proof of this. The dog had shown them the meaning of protection, understanding, and the bonds that could form between different forms of life. Milo slept peacefully in her arms. Koro lay beside her, head resting near the baby. Lena felt a deep sense of awe and gratitude. The glowing creature had visited them, But Koro had ensured that Milo remained safe while also allowing them to experience the wonder. Lena knew that their lives had changed forever. The day ended quietly with the sun setting over the small colony. The garden glowed softly in the fading light, and the air was filled with the gentle hum of the world. Lena, Milo, and Koro sat together, united by trust, loyalty, and the extraordinary bond they shared. Lena whispered softly to Koro, "You are more than a guardian. You are a part of our family, and I am proud of you." Koro nudged Milo gently and rested his head beside them, watching over the baby in the small garden. The glowing creature's visit had shown them that the universe held mysteries beyond imagination. But Koro had shown them that human creativity and love could meet these mysteries with courage, intelligence, and care. Lena smiled, holding Milo close. They were ready for the adventures that lay ahead, united by trust, love, and an unbreakable bond. The night came, and the stars of Viridia twinkled in the sky. Lena, Milo, and Koro rested together, their hearts full of wonder and hope. Life was a journey, and together they were ready to face it. The bond between human, dog, and the unknown had been proven stronger than fear, stronger than doubt, and stronger than the universe itself.